we'll see if anybody hops on. It is like noon, so it's a weird time, but I'm on my way to court. Maybe no one will come on. Maybe this will just be me. Oh, I see some people coming on now. Hey, Nat! I didn't know if anybody would come on because it's a weird time. Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Hi! Thank you, B. It is a weird time, but I am doing okay. But since, okay, so I'm on my way to court. So that's today. Dreading it, actually. I think I'm dreading it for Cartman. Because, anyways, I'll talk about it later. I'll talk about all that later. But this won't be a very long trip over here to the courthouse, so I figured, well, I would just talk about when I hung up with you guys on Sunday from that point. And so I pull up. Okay, so let me go back to Friday after I picked Cartman up. And I saw a lady get out of her car and go up to my neighbor's door. And she was carrying it wasn't in a box, but it was like, you know what the frozen food containers, like a TV dinner, and it's that black kind of thing, and you put it in it's got cellophane on it, you put it in the microwave or whatever. But anyway, she was carrying one of those, and it wasn't in a box or anything, and I thought, well, this is weird, because I know that the church brings her meals a lot of the times. So I didn't really know who this person was. But anyway, so I was like, let's just wait. Let's not go. And it just, obviously they were standing there talking, my neighbor, and her name is Tina. So Tina and this lady were just talking. So I told Cartman, just go. And but anyway, she caught us coming in, going in, and she's like, "Hey!" And I looked at Tina, and she looked like it shocked me, actually, because it looked like she was just kind of leaning up against her door frame, but almost kind of like leaning forward, and she's got real long hair, and so her hair's hanging in her face, and I'm like, she said, "Hey, I just got out of the hospital." And I'm like, "You did?" She said, "Yeah, we need to catch up." And I said, "Okay, we'll do that." And then she told him, "Hey." And so he was like, "Hey." And so that was that. Okay, that was that. That was the end of that. So then on Sunday, let's see, do I want to go this way? I guess I do. Should I have done this? On Sunday, so I'm pulling in and parking, and get out, and I see her, who's probably in her mid to late 30s. I saw her niece and her husband. They were like walking up to Tina's door, and she saw me and she said, "Have you talked to her?" And I said, "No." She said, "Okay." And so anyways, so I'm still trying to get out, and so she went in, and then she came out, and I said, I don't know, I thought she said she's not there. And I'm like, what do you mean she's not there? Like, where would she go? Like, she can't go anywhere. So, unless somebody takes her, you know, so like, and she said, no, she only kind of stood at the door and called her name. She didn't go in. So, but she could see her. And so, anyway, so I hustled out of the car, and she asked me to please. And so I went in, and Tina was sitting in her chair. It's a recliner. It's a chair. She always sits in this chair. And she was like leaned over real far on her left side. And could she be asleep? Yeah, she could be. But it didn't seem like, why are you, she usually goes to bed, you know, gets in her bed if she's going to sleep, but whatever. Of course, one thing too is that Tina, unfortunately, tends to overtake her medication. Whether it be pain medication, whether it be her Xanax medicine. I mean, she's on in a pharmacy. It's like a pharmacy in there. But anyways, so, you know, of course, now I'm thinking, great, she finally did it. She's finally damn overdosed, and I'm gonna need to go find Narcan and try to wake her up and all of that. But so as I get to her and I'm talking to her, I'm like, you know, saying her name, and you know, once I got close, she had one hand. I don't know where the other hand was, really, now that I think about it. But she had one hand in her lap. And I looked, and I noticed that her fingers looked dark to me. And I was like, oh, shit. Wait a minute now. And then I noticed, too, that she didn't have anything on from the waist down. She had on a top, but she didn't have on anything else. And I'm like, what in the hell has she done? You know, like, so then, you know, I'm trying to, like, touch her, and I picked up her hand because I wanted to look at her fingers, and she was, I told her niece, I'm like, because at this time now, her niece is on the phone with 911. And so I said, man, she's cold. And I said, but maybe it's just her, because she always said she's cold. Always, she's cold. So I was like, you know, she don't have nothing over her her shoulders or her arms. So maybe, maybe she just cold. And so I'm still trying to, get her. And I lifted up her arm, and it would only go so far. It started to be very rigid and kind of, so I was like, oh my gosh. And so then, I'm brushing her face, trying to get the hair out of her face and still trying to kind of talk to her. And I'm poking around trying to find a pulse. But I couldn't find a pulse because I was too nervous, like I didn't, I think I felt something. Anyway, it's like when you're looking at a person who's laid out in the funeral home and you see them breathing. It was like that. And so, but then I was, I saw her eyes, and they were open. Your eyes are open when you die. I never knew that for the longest time. I always thought that when you died, everything just kind of relaxed, your eyes closed. No. But her eyes were so dark. They were dark. And I felt like she was just looking right through me. And so I saw her little pulse ox thing laying there. So I took it and put it on her finger. Because 911 is, is she breathing? Do you feel a pulse? Do you feel it? So I just grabbed that and put it on her finger. And at first it didn't do anything. And then finally it came up with some numbers. And so I'm like, well, I guess she's in there, I guess. I don't know what caused that, but she was not in there. Then 911 for me to touch her eye. What? What do you mean touch her eye? I didn't want to touch her eye. I didn't know what he meant. Like, just touch the eyelid or touch her eye. You just want to touch it and see if she twitches. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. And all these, all of that plays real fast in your head. And then somewhere you dig up the courage and the strength to touch the eye, to see if it would twitch. And it didn't. And then, but we kept trying, and it was like, then the police officer, of course, most of the time they're the first on the scene, and he kind of checked her over, and then he told me and her, that we needed to go outside, but we were not free to leave. And I was like, oh God. Okay. I knew what it meant, but I was like, oh. I promise we're not suspects in anything, but you don't know. You've got this woman, and anyways, then fire showed up, and they were just in and out, and so, and then EMTs came, and then all of this happened over like a 2-hour period, and then then one of the EMTs or the police officer, I can't remember which one, they said, listen, the coroner or the medical examiner is not coming out. They feel like this was, she had COPD really bad, and she was on oxygen. She continued to smoke. So even as like her family started arriving, you know, you know, like they would say, you know, the officer would ask, they asked like 3 or 4 times. So this, you knew this was coming, you just didn't know when. And everybody was like, yeah. So they said that the coroner or the medical examiner would not be coming because there was no need. They felt like it was aspiration, I think, if I'm saying it correctly, aspiration from the COPD. Does that sound right? Some of you medical people? She was 65. She's one of my neighbors. Now I still have another one that is elderly that she hasn't, but anyways, so but so then you know, they had already reached out, the police I guess did, once the family told who the funeral home is or whatever. So they said that they would hang around until the funeral home, the funeral parlor, whatever you want to call it, they would be the ones to come and get her. So there was not going to be, and I'm like, you know, I was asking her nephew after he showed up, and I'm like, but don't they want to get like a toxicology or something to, you know, something like that? And like, when are they going to do that? Thinking all this stuff. And he said, well, they're not going to do anything like that. Now, it can be done, but the family would have to pay for it. You know, the closest we can guess is she may, you know, I didn't investigate by really looking in the bathroom or anything like that, but she may have gotten out of the shower and, you know, got her top on and just got to where she could not breathe, and went and sat down in her chair to put her oxygen on. And I don't know. But that would probably explain why, you know, there was nothing on, no clothes on the bottom half, because she wasn't able to finish getting dressed. And the longest part of the whole thing was waiting for the funeral people to get there. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe how long it took. But, you know, I guess they have to, you know, go from their homes, I guess, and get ready and get the hearse, and I don't know. So once that happened, then they released everything. Then they shut, you know, everything was turned over to the family. And so they all went inside, and after a couple minutes I went over there, and I gotta tell you, it was people do strange things. They do. I'm gonna guess there was maybe let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then maybe I was 8 people over there. And I went to see, like, to stay with them. I've known them for several years, and Tina and I were actually pretty close. She wore on my nerves a little bit because she was needy. And then, when somebody dies, you feel so guilty for the feelings that you had. Like Friday I told Cartman, just wait right here, I felt terrible. I was like, I had a long talk with him about it, and just, so, anyway, he thought it was very sad, also, but I didn't want to get, to be honest, I need to go back to the story, but the thing is, I didn't want to get kind of tied up with her because I had him home, and I didn't want, but anyways, so let me see what time it is. So, but the thing about going inside with the family, and I don't know what I thought was happening, but I wasn't expecting to see what I saw what was happening. And I mean, it was almost like a bunch of little rats scurrying around. And I'll probably have to private this video just in case none of the family ever runs across it. But it was, hey, who needs butter? Anybody need butter? She's got like a whole bunch of butter in here. Need it? No, I don't need no butter. I mean, like cleaning out the fridge. Do you need a pressure cooker? Pots, pans? No, I don't need any of that. That's weird. I just took her body out. And y'all's in here like scavengers, taking stuff. Look, I've seen far too many families get into fights, or but I've never seen that happen so fast. Like they just removed her body and they are in there staking their claims on stuff and stuff in the fridge. So I had a couple big plants that were on these tall stands, and Tito, when we first got him, he would get in those plants and lay down in the dirt, and so I had to figure out, where am I going to put these plants? So I took them over to Tina's, and then every time I tried to get them back, she wouldn't give them to me. She's like, no, please leave them here. They make my room look so pretty, and so I would leave them over there. But then anytime I went over there, they were dry as a bone, choking to death from the cigarette smoke. So, no respect. It was like, so they were trying to figure out, like, what are we going to do? Because she didn't have any type of life insurance or anything. And I said, wait a minute now. She told me she did that Colonial Penn $9.95 thing or whatever it was a month, and they said no, she ended up not going through with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So the niece was one of the other nieces was on the phone talking to whoever, I don't know, getting prices, and they said it would be like $3,000 for cremation and over $6,900 for a burial. So they were trying to figure out what they were going to do. So they were talking about getting her place cleaned out, rather quickly. Hi! So that they could maybe turn it in and get her rent back that she had already paid. But everything in there everything is yellow. So I don't know. It's not going to be a quick. And I don't know, like, I mean, sure, they'll go in and repaint and stuff, but I don't know if you can just paint over nicotine and it just goes away. I don't think so. I think the smell would, I don't know. I really don't know. That's not my thing. I don't know. But oh, yeah. Anytime I went over there, Cartman would say, oh, you been at Tina's? Because, I mean, just walking in there and then coming back, I mean, I could smell it. I'd be like, oh my God, I smell like smoke. It does need to be, so. And I think it was last summer, last spring or last summer, I can't remember, but she had a friend, a real good friend of hers, came and stayed with her for, I don't know, a few days, and her friend went in there and washed down all the walls, everything, And I told Tina, you can't let this happen again. And all the hard work that this friend did, that would be, I mean, it's like a slap in the face. You can't do it. Oh, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go outside and smoke. Shit. His old habits are hard to break, you know. So, anyways, I don't know what the plans are yet. I need to find out. But I don't know. I'm gonna miss her, you know, because I'm so used to her being there and us talking and or texting. So apparently I was the last one that actually saw her, but one of her nieces got a text from her. I don't know. She said Friday evening, but then I think I heard it was actually Saturday. I'm not really sure. But the niece said that the text made absolutely no sense whatsoever. None. So she just, you know, she kind of had that like, well, maybe I should, you know, follow up with this and make sure she's okay. But she didn't. And thank you, Nat. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. Yes. So now here I am at court, and I've got to get ready to go in. And I have to, I've got to make a lot of adjustments. I've got to take off my belt and, you know, remove things. And so, anyways, I'm going to get going because I want to see if the attorneys are here so I can speak to them. But after court, I will be back on. I don't know how long it'll take. I have no idea. Because when what I thought was not supposed to be much of anything, that it was just going to be kind of more like just a check-in kind of thing. I don't know what I thought it was. But after talking to the DCS case manager yesterday, she said she thinks that they are actually going to cover, you know, go over the charges and stuff. So, yeah, I'm a little, and I told him that last night when he called me, and so I think he's probably a little nervous too. So I want to see if he's here or what. So, but anyways, I'll be back in a little while. Okay. So you guys have a good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And after court, I will come on and let you know what happened. I love y'all. Mwah. Thanks, guys.